Alright, I'm going to try and keep this quick like I like it. Xbox controller mapping in the Wii U and Switch on Omega. I just wanted to let you know how quick and easy it can be. So let's go into it right now. So what you want to do is, this is the easiest way that I found. Be in Big Box and scroll to whatever game that you want. Let's just say, what's one? Let's go with Mario Kart. That's just an easy one for Wii U. So what you want to do is, I don't have a coin button, so mine's actually a shift, but if you had a coin button, you would press the coin button, and it'll bring up this menu right here that you're seeing, and off on the right, you're going to see this Open Cmood. This is the actual emulator that's running for Wii U, so I'm going to click into that. And here we are. We popped into here, our Cmood. We're going to come over to here to, I want to say it's Options, Input Settings. There you go. So I'm going to click into that. So as you'll notice up here as I'm scrolling through, you got controller 1, controller 2, controller 3, 4. Now some of you might say, oh sweet, we can have 8 controllers on here. You can. However, you need to make sure that your wireless dongle, you usually need 2 because they usually can only handle 4 at a time. So, or you just wire 4 of them as well if you have 4 USB ports, and if you can try a hub, but it might be weird. But I normally only map my first 4 controllers. So we'll go over this really quick. So controller 1, I've already done this, but I want you to take note of a few things. So the emulator controller, so this is the Wii U gamepad. If you guys remember, it's the big pad that had the screen on it. So there has to be one that's using that, but it technically is like an Xbox controller layout, only stretched with a screen in the center, pretty much. So, and then you want to make sure you come down to here. The next piece is you need to make sure it's not keyboard, because from default it will be keyboard. So you need to make sure that it's clicked to X input because we're talking about Xbox controllers. Again, some of you might be saying, well, you're using Xbox 360 and I have Xbox One controllers. They should be showing up the same as X input. So make sure that that's X input, and then you're going to go controller. So right now, the only controller I have on is my first controller. Now I do have 4 other controllers out here, but I just want, actually, let me do that really quick. So let me close out of this real fast. Boop, boop. Here I am back into here. Let me turn these other controllers on so you can kind of see what happens. So I do have, like I said, 4 controllers out. It'll just make it easy for you to see what's going on here. So I got my 4 controllers, and they're all lit up. That's why I like 360 controllers too, because they light up and tell you what controller it is, and also that it's connected. It's not flashing at you and stuff. Not to say that I don't like things flashing me, but I'm just, you know what I mean. So I'm going to click into Cmood again, and I'm going to go into scroll, finding options, input settings. Now here we are. Okay, so I'm really talking about mapping control 1. So again, I've already done this. It's controller 1. But now check this out. So let's say I don't have all of these maps, and so I'm working through. I got X input checked, and I want to go, okay, controller. I'm going to click into this. These are all of my Xbox controllers that are connected now, right? So I got, oh, this is controller 1. So, all right, so I'm going to make sure that this is controller 1. I'm going to click that. Oops, click that one. And now it actually will, it'll usually pretty much put all your maps in there already. But I like, so Wii and Wii U and all that kind of stuff, their button layout is a little different. Like their A button is the B button, and as you can see, I've kind of mapped it that way. So when I'm not looking at my controller, I know where the button is for what it should be on Switch or on Wii U. So, and you'll just work through the controller. So I got, so this is going to be the B button, A, and so I'm just kind of working through. I've already done this, but this is how fast it is done. And it just keeps going. So click, up, down, left, right. And I already adjusted the dead zones on that one. Oops, nope, I got to go back. So I'm going to click back into here. So we got the click, and we got up, down, left, right. And then D-pad, up, down, left, right. And then I don't do the blow mic or any of that stuff. You can add that to like a keyboard press or something else, but you technically don't really need that stuff. So, so we're done there. And then you can save it as a profile name if you'd like. Like I did it as X1 for X input, and then you just click save, and then you can go to the second controller, right? So I'm gonna click controller 2, and as this is, notice how this doesn't say the gamepad. This is the Pro controller. So because you couldn't have in Wii U, you couldn't have multiple big the gamepads. It was just one. So then everything else is going to be, all other controllers are going to be this Wii U Pro controller, all right? So and then X input again, and then you're going to want to go down here, and remember this is controller 2, so I'm going to make sure that controller 2 is picked, and then do the same thing that I did. Now, those of you that have seen my other tutorials, you'll understand about dead zone. So what dead zone means for these controllers, see this is my player 2 controller and it's already configured, so see how it has pulls over a little bit? So see how it's holding on the, if you can see the little bit, it's on the right hand side, because this controller has a bad dead zone, so I had to make sure that I get it so that it never turns red and holds. See, like that one, it's holding a little bit, so I want to go up just slightly. Let's go up, so get it so it turns black. There we go. So this is my worst controller, but that's why you would adjust dead zone, so you don't get drift. That's how you'll have that Tokyo drift action happening where your guy's walking and you don't know what's going on. But that's it for this one. So we'll close this one out here. So you got that information. Now let's go into something else here. So I'm going to back out. Let's go into something a little different now. Scroll over here. And let's go through and we'll look at how this works for the Switch. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to click, remember coin button, then like I did before, but this is a different emulator, so I'm going to go to Yuzu, I'm going to click into Yuzu. Okay, now I'm going to come, find my cursor again, there we go. I'm going to go into, it's either a little different, I want to say it's Tools, nope, View, Emulation, Configure, there it is, Emulation, Configure, boop. Then we're going to go into Controls, and this has also been done already, so I want you to understand. So remember, there's no gamepad on Switch. It's just, so you want to make sure that player 1, the controller is the Pro controller, and you want to make sure the input device. So like if you have an Xbox One controller and it's on, it'll know that it's an Xbox One controller and it's on. So this is another one of those, like this is actually controller 1, controller 2, controller 3, and controller 4. So you want to make sure player 1 is going to be this controller. We're going to click into that, and then you'll do the normal setup that you would. So let's touch on that really quick. So I'm going to click on here. Actually, yep, it's going to do that. Okay. So now we're going to go left stick up, and that's it. And then you just kind of work your way through all of them. Now you can do, you know, like a configure and go. I just go button by button. So I'll click one, left click on it, and it'll say, okay, what's my left? So I'm going to click that direction. There it is. Then I'm going to even this one, so I can click here, I can click over. There, it lets you know. Now you can actually see how everything's moving on the actual controller. So as I hold, you can see on my screen, making sure my dead zone is okay. This one, it's all right. It's not awful. But let's say I want to turn up the dead zone on my left stick a little bit. So remember, you want to adjust it so that it's not, so you don't have any outside. So there's no, that little dot is not outside of that circle. And then some controllers will have a worse dead zone because they're broken better than others. So you want to make sure that that dead zone is set. Then we got this one as well. So as you can see, this is already mapped. I've already done it with all of my controllers. So, but I just wanted you to know, you don't need to be scared about it. This is where you would go to do it. You click OK once you're done setting all the controllers, because you can go back through all of them, right? So I don't think, actually, I don't know if I've mapped the second player controller. Let's try that. So I'm going to click second controller. Yep. Connect controller. It's a Pro controller, Xbox One, the input device. Oh, I did map this one. Okay, so now I can look. Yeah, see, it's already mapped. Yeah, and this one, the dead zone, though, needs to be mapped a little bit better here. So I'm going to go over just a little bit. It doesn't need to be anything crazy, just so the circle stays in. All right, and then it's pretty cool because you can press the buttons and it tells you what you're pressing. And remember I said that the Xbox layout is different than the Switch or Nintendo layout. See, A is actually B, so I like to have it in the same spot rather than getting them all confused. Right? Cool. All right, well, that's it. I hope you found this helpful, and game on. Later.